Hello again, Internet people. My name is Bill Robinson and I am a Darwyn Cooke fanatic. I'm here with another video about some of the lesser known works that he did. We're going to start off with a bang. Check this out. Dark Horse Comics did this Dead Vengeance um, book a long time ago. I don't know what year, but it was a while ago. And this is a little harder to find because Dark Horse is notorious for not reprinting things and also not necessarily just being that popular. But look at that. That is amazing. That's a Darwyn pinup. It is not in any. I don't think this was in any original issues. It's only in this hardback, or if you can find a trade of it. But that's pretty cool. Kind of a fun little zombie PI thing that they did. Forager, I believe, was a online only comic, and for the trade, Darwyn did a pinup because anytime Jimmy and Amanda asked him to do a pinup, he would. Look at that. Beautiful. Really lovely. So that's Forager. Track that down. Not expensive. I got mine on Amazon. This is, maybe doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because I don't think it contains anything that's originally published here. But I will tell you that it had a piece that I wasn't familiar with. So it's got just little stuff about Catwoman, and that's obviously some Darwyn artwork there. And I don't know if I remember where that's at. But either way, here's another cool kind of double splash page. And again, I'm not sure if that's Darwyn. I believe it is, but I bought it anyway because that's who I am. Here is the Wolverine Project. This was something that was done for the Hero Initiative as a fundraiser. They had all these different artists do a bunch of different Wolverine sketch covers, and Darwyn's got two. Now, this might be one of the only pieces by him that I think is sort of subpar. I'm not a huge fan of that, but he did it, so I bought this whole trade just for these two pictures. Now, there's some other cool Wolverine stuff in here, too. That one's actually pretty good, but I think that other one was a little rushed and sloppy. One man's opinion. And you won't hear me say that about him very often. This, you're going to think, what the hell, Bill? Again, but this is Torpedo by the great Jordy Burnett, who, if you're not familiar with his artwork, amazing. He did a bunch of Jonah Hex's. He's done a bunch of stuff, a lot of Western stuff. But if you look here in the credits there, Darwyn did some work. So the cover and some color work. So there you go. Just a little, I bought this entire freaking Torpedo book. Well worth the read, too. Again, Jordy Burnett is really cool. Okay, friends. Here's one you'll probably never see in your lifetime. This is a Kickstarter reward cover for Abaddon, which was, again, Jimmy and Amanda. And this one's obviously signed by Darwyn, but I'm just going to leave that up so you can just gander at the amazing. That's just a great piece of work, I think. So if you can find that one, best of luck to you. I'd like to know where you found it. Obviously in the secondary market, again, Kickstarter reward. They made 100 of them. 100. That's it. This is a fun one. Most people have probably seen this, especially if you're a Darwyn fan of any kind or stripe. But that's just a great 75th anniversary Joker cover on Action. I love it when he tells an entire story in one panel. So quite clearly he tried to burn Superman's face with acid from his little flower there. It didn't work out, and now he's about to take a pounding from the Man of Steel. I like that. This is a cool one that's got a neat story behind it. I'm going to kind of zoom in so you can see all those comics there. That's the cover that Darwyn did for this book. And it's basically Batman slipping on a banana peel that Ambush Bug left there for him, and Ambush Bug walking away laughing. You can find the image online if you look it up. But instead, he did this, where he is tied to a post and he's about to be set on fire with all of those copies that were pulped. Kind of fun. Harvey Pekar had Darwyn do this cover, sort of Man in the Moon cover for DC Vertigo. It's one not a lot of people have ever seen. I think it's really pretty. I like that one quite a bit. This is a twofer. Graham Cracker Comics had Darwyn do this cover for the Dark Knight 3, The Master Race There's obviously a black and white, and then a color one that's pretty much black and gray. So that's kind of cool. These aren't super expensive. They did a bunch of variants for this by a bunch of different artists. So you can track these down without too much trouble. Oh, okay, here we go. So on Gotham Knights, they would do these little backup stories called Black and White, where you're familiar with Batman Black and White. There's also a Gotham Knights cover that Darwyn did. I'll cover that in a different video, but this one's actually pretty cool because it's not drawn by Darwyn. It's written by him, and it is penciled by the great Bill Ray. So that's a fun one. Here's another one. This time Darwyn did do, here's the Scarecrow cover. Darwyn did do this great backup called Here There Be Monsters. That is really pretty, and it's a good, I don't know, 5 or 6 pages, but it's really nice. Look at this pretty nice splash page of that villainous there. Anyway, that's a great one. Gotham Knights. Let me give you those issue numbers just real quick. That's 33 and 23, respectively. Here is a free comic book day called Comics Festival, and this one was from 2007. This is the red one. There's not a different color one. I'm just saying it's very red. I'm going to give you a little bit more close up there so you can see some of the detail. Just a giant jam cover. Pretty cool. And then on the inside, Darwyn did a whole little story that was a tribute to the great Alex Toth, one of his influences. So those are kind of a little hard to find. They didn't print a ton of those, I don't think. Here's another Festival Comics cover he did. This was a 2007, I think. Another great, really fun, gorgeous Darwyn cover. Here's DC Presents Superman. Now, there's a few different volumes of this, and I can't even tell you which volume this is, but you're looking for the one with the football player on the cover. You can see Dar's name up there. But what's interesting, as you can see there, is who wrote it. So Stan Lee wrote a story that Darwyn Cooke drew, which is pretty cool. And it's the opening story, and it's about half of the book almost. But yeah, Stan Lee writes, Darwyn draws. So that one's a good one, and again, that's a dollar bin book for sure. You'll find that one floating around, as will you find this one. This double shot has got a great little Ant-Man story that Darwyn drew. That's very, very cool. So definitely try to find this. This one, again, this is not hard to find. It's just a regular old cheapo book. Oh, okay. Here's a series that I love, and this was even before I was infatuated with Darwyn. I was a big fan of this series called Elk's Run by a guy named Joshua Hale Falikoff. But Darwyn did, because he worked with Speakeasy a bunch, he did a cover for their bumper edition, which collects the first 3 issues. I don't think he's got any art or any credits and anything else on this particular thing. He did some things for Speakeasy, like there was that... Oh, now it just flew out of my head. It's the Spell Game. That's what it is. Spell Game. He did that. He did... maybe that's it. Oh, no, I think that's it for that. Here's a cool cover. Alex Toth and Haspel and a bunch of people did covers for this, but this Darwyn cover, I think, is the best of the bunch. Isn't that something? So pretty. There's that one. House of Mystery number 36. Stay on the lookout for this one. This is, again, a dollar bin book kind of thing, but it's got a backup story. This great space, laws of motion, little backup story here that was written by Matthew Sturgis. And let's see if there's anything just spectacular art, just beautiful, really, really good. He's such a good storyteller. We forget sometimes just how good he is at paneling and all the basic, things we take for granted. JLA All-Stars number 3. This is a Jeff Johns thing, but there's this great Dr. Fate backup that is, I think, written and drawn by our boy. There's, 8 panels on most of that. It's got a nice big water splash page there that I like. Anyway, that's a good one. JSA All-Stars 3. All right, we're almost there, kids. Just Imagine Stan Lee's Catwoman. This has a backup story again. Again written by Stan and drawn by our guy Darwyn. That was pretty cool. These are getting a little spendy now. You usually have to pay about 10, 12 for these. So if you can get these for cover or less, you're doing pretty good. Some great, I love that action. I mean, great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, it's a fairly long piece he did in that. Really cool. Legion of Worlds #2. Remember how I was saying in the last video that he did a bunch of #2s? He did this one. This is a real kind of a think piece. Change in Climate it's called, and it's actually written by Dan Abnett, so you know it's a good story as well as great art. Darwyn did the art in here. Some fun sort of futuristic, robot-y kind of fun stuff in there that he did. Let's see if there's any other really cool. Oh, I like this. This is almost reminds me of the end of The Searchers. That's pretty cool. So there's that, and lastly, but not leastly, as one of my favorite comedians, Bill Burr, would say, this is another one you will not find in a dollar bin unless you're very, very lucky. Superman Adventures #41, single page that he did about the Toy Man. That's Darwyn there. Wrote and drew that. So that's it for this video, guys. I might make some more about some of the more ghostly stuff that I actually own. I could talk about some of the stuff I don't own, that I will own, again, unless I die first. So, again, if you have watched all the way through, I really appreciate it. And remember, there's something wrong with you, just like me.